Welcome to the world of science fiction stories, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe my channel. Enjoy the listening. They controlled the cosmos, then came humanity's unstoppable warship. The arrival of the Dominion. For 8 millennia, the Syrexian Dominion had swept across the stars like an unstoppable tide. Their massive capital ships, each the size of small moons, had brought 1,000 species to their knees. Their technology seemed like sorcery to primitive worlds: energy weapons that could crack continents, shields impervious to anything less advanced civilizations could throw at them, and faster-than-light drives that allowed them to cross the galaxy in days rather than lifetimes. High Commander Vish stood on the observation deck of the Unyielding Glory, the flagship of the Dominion's 7th Conquest Fleet. Before him stretched the vast emptiness of space, dotted with stars that represented worlds already claimed by the Dominion. His slender 9-foot frame cast a long shadow across the polished floor as he gazed at the holographic display of their next target, a small blue-green planet on the edge of an unremarkable spiral arm. "Tell me about this world," he said to Science Director Kilax, his voice a low rumble that seemed to vibrate the air around them. Kilax, shorter than Vish but no less imposing with her iridescent scales and 4 piercing eyes, manipulated the controls of the hologram. The image zoomed in to show a planet teeming with life, cities sprawling across continents, primitive spacecraft orbiting the world and its single moon. "They call it Earth, High Commander. The dominant species are humans, bipedal mammals with remarkable adaptability. They've achieved spaceflight within the last century and have established colonies on their moon and neighboring planet. Their technology is primitive by our standards, but they're advancing quickly." Vish flicked his secondary eyelids in what passed for amusement among his kind. "Any meaningful defense capabilities?" "Nothing that could challenge even our smallest vessels. Their weapons are chemical-based projectiles, rudimentary directed energy, and nuclear devices that would barely scratch our shields. Then they will make an excellent addition to the Dominion. Prepare a diplomatic delegation. Let's see if they're wise enough to surrender without unnecessary bloodshed." 3 days later, humanity received its first confirmation that they were not alone in the universe. 5 Dominion ships emerged from hyperspace just beyond the orbit of Mars, each one dwarfing the largest spacecraft humans had ever built. Earth's government scrambled to respond, hastily forming a unified contact committee comprising representatives from major nations. Admiral Alina Chen, commander of Earth's combined space fleet, watched the alien vessels with a mixture of awe and dread. At 53, Chen had spent her entire career preparing Earth's defenses against potential threats, but nothing had prepared her for this. The ships hung in space like metal leviathans, their hulls gleaming with an otherworldly iridescence that defied human engineering. "They're hailing us on all frequencies," Admiral Chen reported. Her communications officer, Lieutenant Park, straightened her uniform. "Put them through." The view screen flickered to life, revealing a being that looked almost reptilian, with scaled skin and multiple eyes set in a face that seemed incapable of expressing emotion as humans understood it. "People of Earth," the alien said in perfect English, "having analyzed Earth's broadcasts, I am Ambassador Thexus of the Syrexian Dominion. For 8,000 years, our civilization has brought order and advancement to the galaxy. We offer you the privilege of joining our glorious empire as a protectorate world. Accept our generous offer, and you will receive the benefits of Dominion technology and protection. Refuse, and you will be subjugated by force. You have 48 Earth hours to surrender your world." The transmission ended abruptly, leaving Chen and the rest of Earth's leadership stunned. The United Nations Security Council convened an emergency session, debating furiously about how to respond. Some nations advocated immediate surrender, citing the obvious technological superiority of the Dominion. Others called for resistance at any cost. Admiral Chen addressed the council, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "We need more time. We need to understand what we're dealing with before making any decisions that will affect the future of our entire species." The council agreed and transmitted a message to the Dominion, requesting an extension for consideration of their terms and a meeting to discuss potential peaceful coexistence rather than subjugation. The Dominion's response came swiftly and brutally. 24 hours after Earth's request, one of the Dominion vessels moved toward Luna, Earth's moon, where the Armstrong International Research Base housed 300 scientists and engineers from 27 nations. Without warning, the alien ship fired a single energy beam that vaporized the entire facility in seconds. The message was clear: the Dominion did not negotiate. Earth watched in horror as the feed from lunar monitoring satellites showed the destruction. Families of the researchers collapsed in grief. Nations that had been rivals for centuries found themselves united in shock and outrage. In a somber address to a global audience, United Nations Secretary-General Okafor stood before the cameras, her face etched with grief but her voice resolute. Today, humanity has witnessed the true face of the Sorexian Dominion. They come not as explorers or even conquerors with honor, but as tyrants who value life only when it serves their purpose. Let our response be equally clear: Earth will not bow. We will not surrender our home, our freedom, or our dignity to these aggressors. The remaining hours of the Dominion's ultimatum ticked away. Instead of preparing terms of surrender, Earth prepared for war. The United Earth Defense Initiative was formed, combining the military forces, scientific knowledge, and industrial capacity of every nation on the planet. Old enemies became allies, pooling resources and setting aside centuries-old conflicts in the face of extinction. Admiral Chen was appointed Supreme Commander of Earth's forces. She knew they couldn't match the Dominion's technology, at least, not yet. But humans had always excelled at asymmetric warfare, at finding creative solutions when outgunned and outmatched. We need something they won't expect, Chen told the hastily assembled team of Earth's brightest minds. They expect us to fight conventionally or surrender. We need a third option. Dr. Marcus Rivera, a theoretical physicist who had revolutionized humanity's understanding of quantum mechanics, stepped forward. What if we don't need to match their technology? What if we can use it against them? Chen leaned forward. I'm listening. Rivera explained, their ships emit energy signatures unlike anything we've seen before. They must use some form of quantum field manipulation for their shields and propulsion. If we could analyze these signatures, maybe we could find a way to disrupt them. How do you propose we get close enough to analyze anything? They'd destroy our ships before we got within range. Dr. Leila Patel, a pioneer in stealth technology, joined the conversation. Maybe not. I've been working on a metamaterial that can absorb, rather than reflect, electromagnetic radiation. If we could adapt it to a spacecraft, we might get close enough without being detected. Thus, Project Longshot was born, humanity's desperate gamble for survival. In underground facilities shielded from Dominion scans, engineers and scientists worked tirelessly to create something the galaxy had never seen, a vessel designed not to match the Dominion's firepower, but to exploit their weaknesses. When the Dominion's deadline expired, Ambassador Thexis transmitted another message: your time is up. You have chosen resistance over wisdom. The Dominion will now demonstrate the cost of defiance. 3 Dominion warships moved into position around Earth, their weapons systems powering up. But before they could fire, Earth launched thousands of missiles, not at the Dominion ships, but into high orbit, creating a dense field of debris and electromagnetic interference that temporarily blinded the alien sensors. In the confusion, smaller craft deployed from Earth, carrying specialized equipment to passive scan the Dominion vessels, gathering crucial data about their technology before retreating back to Earth's atmosphere, where the Dominion seemed reluctant to follow, perhaps not wanting to damage the planet they intended to claim. For 6 months, an uneasy stalemate ensued. The Dominion blockaded Earth, preventing any spacecraft from leaving the system while periodically destroying orbital installations as reminders of their power. But they didn't launch a full-scale invasion, likely waiting for reinforcements to ensure their victory. Earth used this precious time wisely. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, in a facility known only to a select few, Project Longshot reached completion. The UED Defiance didn't look like any spacecraft humans had built before. Its hull was a deep matte black that seemed to swallow light rather than reflect it. Its shape was asymmetrical, with odd protrusions and recesses that made no sense to conventional engineering, but served a specific purpose in its revolutionary design. Admiral Chen stood before the assembled crew of the Defiance, 300 volunteers representing every continent on Earth, the best pilots, engineers, and tacticians humanity had to offer. "What we're attempting has never been done," she told them. "The odds are against us. But throughout history, humans have accomplished the impossible when our backs were against the wall. The Dominion believes they know what we're capable of. They're about to learn how wrong they are." As the massive bay doors opened above the Defiance, revealing the dark ocean depths that had concealed its construction, Chen took her place on the bridge. "Launch sequence initiated," she announced. "May God have mercy on us all, because the Dominion certainly won't." With a surge of power from its experimental engines, the Defiance rose through the water, invisible to the Dominion sensors that had kept Earth under constant surveillance. The battle for humanity's survival was about to begin, and the galaxy would never be the same. Defiance against the stars. The UED Defiance broke the ocean's surface under the cover of a violent storm, its revolutionary hull absorbing radar and LiDAR scans, while its heat signature blended perfectly with the turbulent waters below. This was no coincidence. Earth's meteorologists had timed the launch precisely, using nature itself as another layer of concealment. On the bridge, Admiral Chen studied the tactical display showing 5 Dominion vessels in high orbit. The largest, the Unyielding Glory, served as the fleet's command ship, while 4 smaller, but still massive, cruisers maintained the blockade that had strangled Earth's space access for 6 months. "Status report," Chen ordered, her voice calm despite the weight of humanity's future resting on her shoulders. "All systems nominal," Admiral Park reported. "Commander Tenzin. Her exoquantum absorption field is stable at 97%. We're effectively invisible to their sensors." "And our guest?" Chen asked. Tenzin grimaced slightly. "Dr. Rivera is in the lab, making final adjustments to the disruptor array. He says he needs more data to optimize it fully." Chen nodded. Dr. Marcus Rivera had been the driving force behind the Defiance's revolutionary technology, a system designed to analyze, mimic, and then disrupt the quantum fields that powered the Dominion ships. The theory was sound, but until now they'd never had the opportunity to test it against an actual Dominion vessel. "Set course for the outer system," Chen ordered. "We need to test our capabilities against a smaller target before we take on their flagship." The Defiance accelerated silently through Earth's atmosphere and into space, its engines operating on principles that defied conventional physics. Dar. Rivera had theorized that the Dominion used quantum entanglement for propulsion, connecting their ships to distant points in spacetime and essentially pulling themselves forward. The Defiance's engines worked on similar principles, reverse-engineered from the limited data they'd gathered during the initial confrontation. As they passed the orbit of Mars, sensors detected a lone Dominion patrol ship, smaller than the cruisers blockading Earth but still 3 times the size of the Defiance. "Perfect," Chen said. "Battle stations. Initiate passive scanning protocols." The crew moved with practiced efficiency, the result of months of intensive training. Unlike traditional military vessels with rigid hierarchies, the Defiance operated more like a scientific expedition with military discipline. Each crew member was cross-trained in multiple roles, ready to adapt to whatever challenges they faced. "Scanning complete," announced Lieutenant Miyazaki from the science station. "Transmitting data to Dr. Rivera's lab." Minutes later, Rivera's voice came through the comm system, excitement evident despite the distortion. "It's working. Their quantum field signature is exactly what we predicted. The disruptor is calibrating automatically. We should be ready in 3 minutes." Chen's expression remained neutral, but her eyes betrayed her tension. "Take us in on tactical approach pattern Delta. Let's see if our theories hold up in practice." The Defiance accelerated toward the Dominion patrol ship, still undetected thanks to its revolutionary stealth systems. At 5,000 kilometers, well within range of the Dominion's weapons if they spotted the human vessel, Chen gave the order, "Activate disruptor array." Targeted burst only. Let's not reveal our full capabilities yet. From specialized emitters along the Defiance's hull, invisible waves of quantum interference radiated outward, precisely modulated to interact with the patrol ship's energy systems. The effect was instantaneous and dramatic. The patrol ship's lights flickered, its engine sputtered, and its weapon systems went offline. On the bridge of the Defiance, the crew watched in stunned silence as their theoretical weapon proved devastatingly effective in practice. "By all the stars," whispered Commander Tenzin. "It actually worked." Chen allowed herself a small smile. Of course it worked. Never doubt human ingenuity when our survival is at stake. She turned to the communications console. "Open a channel to the Dominion vessel." The view screen activated to show a Surayan officer, the alien's multiple eyes wide with what might have been shock or fear. "This is Admiral Elena Chen of the United Earth Defense Vessel Defiance," Chen said, her voice steady and confident. "As you can see, we've temporarily disabled your ship's primary systems. Consider this a demonstration of capabilities you didn't believe we possessed. Return to your fleet and deliver a message: Earth is not defenseless. We demand the immediate withdrawal of all Dominion forces from our system and recognition of Earth's sovereignty." The Surayan started to respond, but Chen cut the transmission. "Restore minimal power to their life support and communication systems only," she ordered. "Let's give them just enough to limp home and deliver our message." The Defiance withdrew, leaving the crippled patrol ship behind. But Chen knew the real battle was just beginning. The patrol's report would eliminate the element of surprise, and the full might of the Dominion blockade would soon bear down on them. She wasn't disappointed. Within hours, long-range sensors detected the 4 Dominion cruisers breaking orbit from Earth, moving to intercept the Defiance. Leading them was the Unyielding Glory, High Commander Vish's flagship. "They've taken the bait," Chen said. "Now we implement Phase 2. The Defiance accelerated toward the outer system, appearing to flee from the pursuing Dominion fleet. But this was exactly according to plan. As they approached the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, the Defiance suddenly cut power to all non-essential systems, appearing to suffer a catastrophic failure. "They're closing fast," reported the tactical officer. "Weapons charged and targeting solutions locked." Chen nodded. "Wait for it. Let them get overconfident." The Dominion ships surrounded the apparently crippled human vessel, their massive hulls blocking out the distant sun. On the bridge of the Unyielding Glory, High Commander Vish watched with contempt. "This is their great hope. A single ship that barely functions," he said to his assembled officers. "Prepare boarding parties. I want their technology analyzed before we destroy them." As the Dominion ships moved closer, Chen gave the order they'd been waiting for. "Now, full power to all systems. Activate the array at maximum intensity." The Defiance roared back to life. Its disruptor array, now broadcasting across all frequencies identified in Dr. Rivera's analysis, rippled through the Dominion formation like a tsunami. Ship after ship lost power, their quantum fields collapsing under precise interference. "Target the flagship's propulsion and weapon systems," Chen ordered. "Disable, don't destroy." The Defiance maneuvered with impossible agility, darting between the massive Dominion vessels. Where conventional weapons would have been useless against their shields, the disruptor array penetrated those defenses, exploiting the very technology that made them so formidable. On the Unyielding Glory, chaos reigned as systems failed across the ship. High Commander Vish roared orders that couldn't be carried out, watching in disbelief as a supposedly primitive species turned his fleet's greatest strengths into their weaknesses. "Impossible," he snarled. "They cannot possess such technology. The survey indicated they were centuries behind us." The battle, if it could even be called that, lasted less than 30 minutes. When it was over, all 5 Dominion ships drifted powerless, their weapons, shields, and propulsion systems offline. Only life support and